Hi. So today we'll discuss on hypothesis testing, one sample t-test. I'll show you both kind of one-tailed and two-tailed test part of it. Let's jump into directly into two research objectives. So the data which we'll be discussing today, I had collected 1.5 months back from School of Management, KIT School of Management MBA first year student. Around 153 students had responded to one of the survey which I had conducted, and I wanted to understand their behavior, like kind of hand washing behavior, how many times they're washing their hand, how much time they're spending to wash their hand, how many communication they got regarding this COVID-19 pandemic, right? So I wanted to understand those behaviors, and I collected data from MBA first year students, and we'll be using that data today to discuss on one sample t-test. Let's say one of my objective is to understand whether the average number of times they wash their hand is greater than 11, because I read a few research articles where it has shown that the number of times, average number of times people should wash their hand is somewhere between 6 to 11. Okay, and I want to understand whether that is true for this postgraduate student. Let's say all the postgraduate students in India is my population. Out of that I have taken a sample of 153 students. Second research objective is average time they spent in each hand wash, whether it is 20 seconds or not. Okay, see how these two research objectives differ. In the first research objective 3, which is written here, I just want to understand whether the number is greater than 11, whether it is more than 11, right? So it has a directional property to it. Whenever a research objective has a directional property, that means when we are trying to find out whether something is greater than or less than some number, then it is called one tailed test. In this case, in this particular case, whenever I want to understand it is greater than 11, it will be right tail test. If I wanted to understand if the number is less than some number, let's say less than 15, less than 16, then it could have been a left tail test, right? So that is the property of one tail test, right tail or left tail test. The research objective 4, I do not have directional property attached to it. What it means, when I say that whether people spend washing their hand is 20 seconds or not, right? So I just want to understand whether it is 20 seconds or not. It can be either greater than 20 seconds or less than 20 seconds, right? So it do not have a certain directional property to it. So it can be either less than or greater than. In that case, it will be two tail test. Okay. So we'll see how the approach of calculation varies for both the one tail and two tail test. So let's go to next slide. So we'll go step by step. Again, let's say the first objective is average number of times people wash their hand in a day is more than 11. So first step in any hypothesis testing is to formulate your hypothesis. And as I said earlier in my previous videos and previous slides, whichever is our research hypothesis, that has to be our alternate hypothesis, right? So what we want to understand whether the number is greater than 11. So that is obviously my research hypothesis, and that will be my alternate hypothesis H1. So mu is basically population mean. So because I want to make an inference about the population in any hypothesis testing, the objective is to find out the, like, with the data available per sample, I want to make inference about the population. So mu is nothing but the population mean, whether it is greater than 11. That means total, let's say all the postgraduate student in India, let's say that 20 lakhs or 30 lakhs students are there. Out of that, if I take average number of hand washing per day, whether it is greater than 11 or not. What will be my null hypothesis? It is null hypothesis is nothing but the opposite of alternate hypothesis. Always remember the equality sign will be there in null hypothesis. Equality sign is always, that is because it is a status quo. So opposite of or greater than will be less than equal to 11. That is my null hypothesis. In my second case, where I just want to understand whether the average time spent is 20 seconds or not. So what is my alternate hypothesis? Mu is not equal to 20. So it can be either greater than or lesser than. So that is a different case. I just want to understand whether it is equal to 20 or not. So my alternate hypothesis is mu is not equal to 20. Null hypothesis will be equal to 20. Second step, statistical case selection and level of significance. So statistical test, like I said, here I'm considering all my respondent as a single sample and I want to compare with a theoretical value. So I'll be using one sample t-test in both the cases. And there can be two kind of tests, Z test and t-test. Okay. So whenever we are in this kind of situation, we can either use Z test or G test or T test. Only issue with G test is your sample size has to be greater than 30, which actually true here because we have around 153 respondent. But the second condition is you should know this population variance. That means how the population variance is there. If the average number of hand washes is 11 or 12, what is the population variance? That in most of the cases will not have any idea about any population parameters, right? So that's why in most of the research objective cases we'll be using t-test. Okay, but ideally in theoretically we can use g-test, z-test or g-test. But in this case, because we do not have any idea about population variance, those are the two conditions has to be met to use g-test. Sample size has to be greater than 30 and you should know the population variance. Though in this case we have sample size greater than 30, we have around 153 respondents. Because we do not know the population variance, we will be using t-test in both the cases. Second factor is about level of significance, alpha. Most of the times we use alpha as 5% or 0.05. Other values like 1% and 10% can be used if that is specified in your research objective. So let's jump into the calculation part. So this is a like kind of rather than remembering your formula, you should remember whenever you are calculating test statistics, we are comparing our observed value with the expected value, right? What is the expected value? Expected value is the theoretical value which I had got from some research papers, right? Or the research communications. So I have collected this 153 student. We discussed that, but here in this kind of slide, I have not shown all the details of 153 student. I have just taken like some representative numbers. I have shown here 20 numbers, but in the calculation, I have used all the numbers given by 153 student. So what I observed is, so that is the mean of mean number of times people students was their hand is 11.56. That is my observed value. Expected, what is my expected value? The value which I want to test my hypothesis is 11. Standard error is nothing but standard deviation divided by square root of sample size. Standard deviation of the sample I found out as 11.03 of those 153 students. Then I calculated standard error that came as 0.8921. T statistics, again observed value is 11.56 minus expected value 11 divided by standard error. Okay, standard error is 0.8921, so that gave me a test statistics of 0.63. Similarly, for the other objective where I want to understand whether the average time they spend on hand washing is 20 seconds or not, the process is again same. I found out the mean is 28.61. That means average they spend 28.61 seconds. Expected I want to test that with 20 seconds. Then again I calculated standard error. Standard error is standard deviation divided by square root of sample size. Standard deviation is 40.11 for the those 153 student sample. Calculated standard error. Then test statistics, that is my observed value 28.61 minus 20 divided by standard error. So that gave me a value of 2.657. Okay, so that is the third step of my sample t-test. Next we'll see the critical value. How you find the critical value? Like I said, for critical value you need two parameters. One is level of significance, which we have assumed 5% for our research objective, and degrees of freedom. Degrees of freedom for one sample t-test is n minus 1. What is n? N is your sample size. So in this case, what will happen? So I'll go to kind of this is a t distribution. I'll be using the same distribution for both the objectives. So here is the challenge. Here is the something you need to understand. What is the difference between one sample and two? Or what is the difference between one tail and two tail test, right? So this is like I said, where I want to understand whether the number is greater than 11, right? In the past research objective, I want to understand whether the average number of hand washes is greater than 11, right? So in that particular case, whenever we are in a situation of one tail test, okay, right? Because I want to understand whether it is greater than 11, that is a one tail test, greater than or lesser than. If it is greater than, it is a right tail test. If it is lesser than, it is a left tail test. We have to find the critical value at alpha whichever has been given, that is 0.05 and n minus 1. So n minus 1, I do not have any number, like my n minus 1 will be 152. Why? Because n sample size is 153, n minus 1 will be 152. In this table I do not have any number up to 152, so I have taken the number which is available to me up to infinity. So that gave me a number, that gave me the critical value of 1.645. okay, so if I go and see at 0.05 and go to the bottom of it, I think the screen is not visible here, but if you find in a t distribution and go to the table, find at 0.05 and go to the degrees of freedom, let's say greater than 152, the number will be close to 1.645. okay, so that is the number I found out here. That is my critical value. For the other case, what I want to understand whether it is 20 seconds or not. Okay. So in that particular case, that is a two-tail test, right? Whenever there is a two-tail test, okay, because it can be either greater than or less than, check the number at alpha by 2. What is my alpha? Alpha is 0.05. Alpha by 2 will be 0.025. Okay. So whenever I want to find out a critical value at two tail test, I have to check the number at alpha by 2. Again 0.0025. If I go there and find a number at degrees of freedom 152, it will be close to 1.96. So that is something you need to remember or understand. In a one tail test, check the critical value at alpha. In a two tail test, check the number at alpha by 2. Then I'll quickly jump into, so I had got the critical value in the first research objective as 1.645. I had calculated my test statistics is 0.63. Because my test statistics falls in a non-rejection region, that is left to the critical value, I cannot reject this null hypothesis. What was my null hypothesis? Null hypothesis was the average number of times student was there and is less than equal to 11. I cannot reject that. So that means I cannot prove that the average number of times student was there and is greater than 11. Though in my sample it is showing 11.56. For my sample it is true that the number is greater than 11. But with that number and with the standard error, with the assumptions I have made, I cannot guarantee that with 95% confidence that for a population it will be greater than 11. Similarly, for the other, the second research objective, I got the test statistics at 2.657. My critical value I found out as 1.96. Because my test statistics is greater than my critical value, I will be rejecting my null hypothesis. What was my null hypothesis in the second case? The average number of hand washes is equal to 20. So here I proved that with 95% confidence I can tell that it is not equal to 20 with the given sample which I have collected. Okay, so I can prove that, I can infer that it is not equal to 20. But this challenge with two-tail test is that then what if it is not equal to 20? Because researchers most of the times will be wanting to know whether it is greater than or less than, right? So when I say it is not equal to 20, it doesn't mean anything. So most of the times we try to use one tail test, though in some cases we'll be using two tail test. Okay. Also quickly how to do it in a Excel. There is no single test available for one sample t-test, but we can use dummy variables and we can use the t-test to sample assuming unequal variances. We can create another column called dummy numbers, just put one or two zeros there. Select the variable one range. Variable one range is the actual range which you want to calculate, and the second range is nothing but the dummy numbers which you have created, few zeros which you have just put few one or two zeros there. What is my hypothesized mean difference? 11. That's what I want to understand, right? Whether it is greater than 11 or not in my first research objective. Put alpha as 0.05 and what the number. So if you see, this is the number which you had found earlier, 0.63, and critical one tail value was 1.65. Again the same result we got it here. For the other case also, if I do the same kind of test in Excel, I'll get the t statistic 2.65 and my critical two tail as 1.97.